And getting set for the 25 left-hand champion, Morris Jones in car number 44. And we go back to Richard Howell. Dick Howell from Victoria in car number 7, the white car number 7 in the second row. On the outside of him, car 73, the Newstead Hotel Blazers nightclub car number 73, Pete Rotary from Launceston. In the third row on the inside from Sydney, New South Wales, we have Phil Harris, car number 4. It's the Wins car number 4, Phil Harris. Outside of him, Terry Reichstein in the TNT Courier car from Tennant Creek in the Northern Territory. Terry Reichstein, the Northern Territory champion. Then we have in the Hotel Valerne car, Graham Russell. And then we have Graham Dyke in the orange Tirana, bringing up the rear at the start in this one. So the inside running from the drop of the green will be the big car from South Australia, the all transport car there, number 36, Bobby Middleton from South Australia. He'll be the man that'll be jumping right on that gas pedal as they come towards the line. Morris Jones is in the death seat out there, really on the outside. Particularly the track will be a little bit skatey early. Morris, very experienced on this track though, and he'll make it very hard for the Grand Nationals that are in this field. A mixture of Grand National and Super Sedans as they come round looking for the green. The green flag up, the green flag down and racing, and away they go. Middleton goes wide, Jonesy goes to the inside running on the Victorian in 7. The extra power over the big V8 as they go down the back from the 308 of Jones, but it's a long way to go, 25 laps, and they've got to hang it all in there. Already we've got Harris coming under pressure from Graham Russell. Middleton the leader though, doing as well. Phil Harris, who should really be the pre-race favourite in this one, goes down. Jonesy and Russell tangle down there. And Morris Jones was certainly caught out very wide down there, and you can't get out there early on the slightly slippery track. The big South Australian boy doing it well. Bobby Middleton back to the Victorian in car number 7. That's Dickie Howell from Victoria. Then we've got Phil Harris, New South Wales, Graham Russell, Terry Reichstein. Now the boy from the Northern Territory gets up into 4th, so the visiting drivers occupying the front 4 positions now. Car 36 the leader. Phil Harris now starting to throw out the challenge, and this 25-lap race goes to the inside of the Victorian, but he's held out as they go down the RTA straightaway. A great tussle now for second. Middleton the leader. The big car, the big heavy car in front, handling the conditions well. Then we've got the battle going on for second and third, but still the boy from Victoria holding Harris at bay as they swing through the long going turn. Harris coming at him again. The gate's closed though as they go out onto the RTA straightaway. The Lone Hotel. Now Harris goes to the inside running. Noses the big car to the inside. This time he should get through. Phil Harris looking for second. The Victorian boy putting plenty of pressure on, fighting back with Harris up into second. Now he'll go after the leader. So the Sydney Sider is into second. Hasn't had the best of run of luck over this weekend, and now he's desperate to win this consolation. They come towards us this time. Now the boy from New South Wales looking to the inside. But Middleton closes the gate in that big number 36. Harris looks for the inside running. Middleton moves over into the line though, and Reichstein's now come up challenging for third. Round they come again. Harris to the inside, and Phil Harris from New South Wales takes over the front running. Harris into the lead. In the Wins car number 4. I don't think they'll head him from there. Phil Harris now starts to open the gap as he goes down the RTA straight away. Phil Harris through the Island State Credit Union turn, doing it well in the big Wins car, and he's now starting to pull away from this field as our second man now starts to come under severe pressure out there. Number 36, Bobby Middleton, now coming under a lot of pressure there from Dickie Howell, and also Terry Reichstein, the boy from Northern Territory, really getting into the act there now. He's looking for the way through, and he's through too. And a complete change there as Middleton goes very wide down there, lost a heap of ground. Now we've got Reichstein looking for second there as he challenges the Victorian going down the RTA straight away. Oh, great dice going on for the minor placings. Phil Harris starting to pull away, but a tremendous tussle for the minors. The Victorian really fighting back now. He's pulled out 2 or 3 car lengths now on the number 1 car from the Northern Territory. Phil Harris. Phil Harris in car 4, opening that gap up ever so shortly. And the battle is for second and third. Still the Northern Territory boy fighting on there, trying to get with the Victoria. Throwing a little bit more steam down the back straight away. Then the boy from Northern Territory closes as they go into the Island State Credit Union turn. Harris opening the gap. Still the number 7 car. Under pressure again from Reichstein as they go past the Toyota turn. Out on the RTA straight away once again. Reichstein comes at him again. Desperate for that second place. The boy from the Northern Territory tucks into the inside, running wheel to wheel they go down there. But just a little bit more power from the Victorian, holding him out as they swing onto the back straight away. The RTA straight away once again. Our leader ever stretching that lead is just slowly but surely pulling away from this tremendous dice for second. That's where all the action's going on at the moment. Then we have Bobby Middleton. And then going back to the super sedans of Russell, Jones and Robury. And our leader going past once again. Again the battle on for second. As the Northern Territory boys in the gap this time. He's on the inside running. Can he hold it? The Victorian desperate. They're both desperate as they go down the back. Side by side, wheel to wheel. The Northern Territory boy into second. Terry Reichstein into second. And the boy from Tennant Creek up into second now. Really putting together a top drive in this consolation final. The boy all the way from Tennant Creek as he goes out on the RTA straight away. Still Harris the leader, well clear at this stage. Length of the straight away clear of Terry Reichstein of the Northern Territory. Then we go back to the number 7 car. That's Richard Howe from Victoria, Dickie Howe from Victoria. They've got a tremendous tussle back further in the field here between Graham Russell, Maury Jones and Peter Robury. They're wide across the track. There are a wall of cars in front of the leader. That's Phil Harris. He's got to get through these super sedans because Reichstein making up ground rapidly out there. Really standing on that pedal out there at the moment, Reichstein. He realises the leader has been slowed by these cars and he's made up a tremendous amount of ground. Out on the back. It's going to be courage needed here on the outside of Robury as Harris. Here comes Reichstein, gaining on them all the way. Harris going round the outside. Reichstein's down there in the bottom of the track. Will he pull out there? He'll have to make his move if he's going to get to Harris out there. 5 laps to go, 5 laps to go. Reichstein's threading his way through that traffic. Close that gap right up on Phil Harris as they come through. Richard Howes also closed it up. Round they come. Russell leading the super sedan contingent. And we've now got Richard Howe back on the inside of Reichstein's, taken second back. And Harris is still caught wide round the slower cars. Here comes the boy from Victoria now making up ground. Going to be a top finish this one. Harris now getting clear. Reichstein on the inside has lost a lot of ground here. It's the Victorian that's come back into the fray. Down the back, Phil Harris still holding down the lead. Now we've got the boy from Victoria in the number 7 car looking for the way through. He comes charging through, looking for the way through the inside there of Graham Russell. Harris now's got clear and the pressure's gone off him just a little bit as the Victorian now having trouble getting by Graham Russell. Moves to the inside and goes through there. Reichstein's been caught back behind Robury and Russell. Wonder travel for Phil Harris from New South Wales. And the pre-race favourite looks to have it shot to pieces. Half a lap to travel down the back. Richard Howe left the run too late. It's Phil Harris that's going to take out the consolation. Phil Harris takes the Balloon Hotel consolation. Dickie Howe from Victoria. Terry Reichstein from the Northern Territory will come home third. And a well-deserved
third too. The boy from the early leader, New South
Wales peddler, and he's been around for a long time. Give him a good hand too, folks, as he comes round. All you Tasmanian followers, Phil Harris, he's had a pretty rough weekend, and he's had a great win in the Balloon Hotel consolation. When he comes round, it's certainly been a top. JC's has come home in the consolation, and of course Carl's got a hell of a lot of interest riding on the big final. But he'll be quite pleased with victory in the Balloon Hotel consolation here at the Toyota Nationals. To Phil Harris from New South Wales, a top effort and thoroughly deserved one. And I'll be going trackside now in a moment to David for just a quick word with the winner of the consolation.
Thanks very much, Jeff. Well, I think everyone will agree that consolation race was certainly worth waiting for, and it's great to see one of our interstating visitors take out the winning spot there. Phil, congratulations on behalf of Treasure Island Caravan Parks. We'd like you to accept this fine trophy. And also, as an additional bonus, we won't throw them into your hands now because you've got a lap to do, but a great range of stereo gear there and a Clarion cassette deck from our sponsors here, AWA, and we thank them very much for being part of the championships, and we hope that you've enjoyed your trip to Tasmania, and no doubt you'll be back again.
That's for sure. Thanks very much. I'd like firstly to thank the sponsors, Treasure Island Caravan Park and AWA, for the very nice trophies, and it actually was a consolation race. I tried all weekend to just have a bit of luck go my way, and just everything went wrong, but I'm sad I'm not in the feature race, but at least I showed what I can do in the consolation, even though the competition wasn't great.
Good on you, Phil. If you'd like to jump on the truck and do a lap of honour.
Okay, and a big hand for him, folks, as he comes round. Phil Harris from New South Wales. He's been a great campaigner for quite a number of years, and certainly, as we said, Phil didn't have the happiest of heat races, but it's certainly a consolation to him. He's a great competitor, a very fair driver, and as I said, quite often I think Phil would agree that a few of the tangles that he had certainly weren't the fault of Phil Harris, but he's had that consolation. So let's hear a big Tasmanian thank you from him for all you folks down the back there. I know you can really get behind the drivers, so let's give him a real big cheer as he goes by. One of our interstate contingent, and they've put on some great racing for us. Phil Harris from New South Wales, and it's a great performance, and it's tremendous to see all you Apple Islanders. We know what we can do here, giving him a great reception, because he certainly deserves it. It was a top drive, that one. He had to work his way from the middle of the field in that small but still quite quick field, and he didn't do anything wrong, he didn't do anything silly, and he drove to win, and that's what he did, and that's the name of the racing game. So Phil Harris, a great performance from the boy from Sydney in the consolation final here in the Toyota Nationals for 1984.
In car, so being weighed, we might as well get straight into it. And firstly, before talking to the top 6 point scorers, we'll just have a word from our club president, George Kane. George?
Thanks very much, David. I'd just like to thank all you people for coming. It's a tremendous effort to see us all back here. There's a few other people I'd like to thank that helped make this title the success that it's been. And that's all the drivers. The whole title has not been run just by a couple of people. The whole club has got into it. It's been a fantastic club effort. I'd also like to thank the drivers from North and Interstate. They've been tremendous. They've been out here helping do the track. They've been out here every day, picking up the rocks, watering it, whatever they can do. Nothing's been a problem to anybody. I'd like to welcome all the drivers and just wish that may the best man win, and wish them all the best of luck. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you, George. Well, while we've got this moment, we'd like to take this opportunity of thanking Phil McLennan, the National President of the Australian Saloon Car Federation, for his association's assistance in running these titles. And unfortunately, this will be Phil's last appearance in the official capacity as ASCF National President. Phil, thank you very much for coming down with your crew and helping us run this 1984 Toyota Championships.
Thank you very much indeed, David, and I must say that I've been to 14 national titles, and this is by far the most efficiently run title that we've been to, and we would like to give heaps of praise towards the promoters, but particularly so to the club members here at Bridgewater, because the hospitality and the cooperation has been absolutely first class. To all the competitors, all I can say is I wish you all the best. I'm almost as nervous as they are, because it is a rather hectic time for them. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Well, Phil, I think you've said it all, but just before talking to the drivers, I would like to thank all the officials, the chief stewards, the officials right through, our staff here at the Bridgewater Speedway, all our club members who have assisted us in the kiosk for making this one of the best ever national championships. Our own local boy, Terry Lipscomb, has drawn grid 1 on 79 points. Terry, you've earned it the hard way. It's the first time we've seen our local lad on pole position for a national championships. Congratulations, mate, on behalf of all of us here from Tasmania.
Thank you. It hasn't been easy, and I don't think it's going to get any easier either. So we'll just do what we can.
All the best, Terry. Alan Butcher on grid 2 on 77 points. Welcome back, AJ.
Thanks very much. It's good to be here, and I'd like to thank the Tasmanian Club here, particularly in Hobart, for inviting us down. And it's terrific to see such a crowd back today to watch the event. It's crowd participation here is really great. I just wished it was as good at home. I'd like to compliment you on the track. Terrific complex also, and thanks very much.
Thanks, AJ. In third place, Graham, Cowboy Lilford. Graham, congratulations on your grid 3 there and 76 points. All the best for the championships.
Thanks very much. It's really great to be here. I'd like to thank the other competitors for top racing through the weekend, and congratulations to our poles who are up there. We had a few little problems earlier, but I hope that something's okay. Thanks to promotions for inviting us down, and the top track, my sponsors of the car. If we win, we'll thank them later. Thank you.
Good on you, Cowboy. Current national champion, Sess Hendricks, our own Tasmanian. Give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. Sess on grid 4, 76 points. How are you feeling?
Oh, same as usual, Dick. No one's ever won it twice in a row, so I don't see why I should be the first, but we'll be giving it our best shot.
Best of luck, Sess. Gene Cook, you won the Hearts last night up in the hill, they tell me, mate, on grid 5, 70 points, and you look like you got them again today, pal. All the best.
Well, it's real good, Dick, and I'd like to thank all that crowd for being back here today. They've been through probably as much pain or more than us this weekend, but without the crowd out there, we've got nothing here. And thanks very much for coming, everyone, and wish everybody the best of luck. Thank you.
Good on you, Cookie. Well, isn't it great to see a lady up with the top half dozen national drivers, the best in Australia? And here we have Denise Butcher on grid 6 on 62 points. Congratulations, Denise.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all the people for coming back out again, because we as drivers do appreciate all you people.
Thanks very much, Denise. Well, we normally only go to the first half of 6, but I couldn't forget this fella on the front line. He's on grid 7, Snack Harper. Congratulations, mate. You're still up there with him. I think you've got a lot of fans over here too, pal.
Well, we had our doubts whether he was even going to qualify the way the car was on the first night, but we've finally sorted it out, and we're up in 7, and we're going to really give it our best shot. I don't think these other guys have got a chance with the concerted effort that Tasmania's going to throw at them.
Great stuff, Snack. Well, gentlemen, if you'd like to get into your cars and start your engines, we thank Toyota, Cooperative Motors, and all your staff, Mr. Carrick, for the excellent effort that you've put into making this one of the best ever national championships. Gentlemen, start your engines and on with the action. Back to you. Thanks, Jeff.
Here's the big grand final of the 1984 Australian National Sedan Championships. Alan, a disservice by saying that, but I don't believe there'd be any butterflies in probably the most professional driver in Australia. I've known Alan for many years. When I was promoting Carrick, he was a very regular visitor to Carrick. He is a promoter's dream as far as bringing the man down. He is so reliable, and what Alan Butcher says he does, he is the complete professional, and he is going to be one of the men to beat. I think he probably is the man to beat out there right at this moment, off that front row. And again, I must pay tremendous tribute to Terry Lipscomb. I believe showed a heap of guts last night, Terry. He is a relatively inexperienced driver. He's really only had 2 years in this car, which is really nothing against some of the professionals that are out on that track. And Terry put in a really gutsy performance last night. He was, in my mind, almost put out of the championship by a very questionable bit of racing in his last heat last night. And I believe that the man has shown tremendous courage to, he raced in a very badly damaged car there to finish out the series and retain the pole. And I really pay credit to Terry for that, for a really tremendous effort. We have some great competitors from right around Australia out there. Some of them I still haven't mentioned that are back in the field. There's Carl Jeffrey down there. Carl on grid position 13, Devils 13, but that'd suit Carl because he's a wild man of racing, although I think he has mellowed a little bit in the last 12 months. He's been a chief steward's nightmare over the years, but he is a most colourful and professional competitor, and he's running something, as he always does, completely radical with the Mazda RX-7 engine in car number 7. Carl Jeffrey from Sydney, the builder of JC race cars, more JC race cars in this championship field than any other chassis, and I think that's a credit to an Australian sedan car builder. Carl Jeffrey with a big lineup of cars in this final. Carl, of course, driving the completely radically engined anyway Mazda RX-7, and Carl was telling me the other day that he is designing a new chassis which will be on the scene for next year, which will be quite radical. So I think we can look out for something a little bit way out from Carl Jeffrey. I'd say he'd have crawled all over the CJ Rayburn chassis that Ray Godsey has out here. And probably if you want to see a Grand National go quick, if they're going to go any quicker than these boys are going to go in a few minutes, well, you'll have to come and see Ray Godsey in a few weeks when the American team's here. But that's for later. Brought to you by Toyota for 1984, the pole sitter Terry Lipscomb in car number 99. On the outside of the front row, and the most experienced driver in the field, the most professional driver in Australia, Alan Butcher in car number 83. In the second row on the inside in New South Wales 1. In New South Wales 1, the current New South Wales champion, the cowboy, Graham Lilliford, in the big number 1, the white Rahal racing car from Sydney. On the outside of Graham Lilliford, and fittingly they're side by side out there, as Graham was runner-up to the current and defending national champion. Sess Hendricks in Australia won, and as Sess said, nobody's ever won it 2 years in succession. Can Sess Hendricks be that man? He's won a record 5 straight Tasmanian championships. He is the king. He is the greatest as far as Tasmanian fans are concerned. 5-time state champion, once and shooting for twice Australian champion. In the next row we have Gene Cook, the current Ashfield champion, in car number 71, and of course Tasmania very proud to have the 2 national champions in our state, Sess Hendricks and Gene Cook. On the outside of Gene is the Australian ladies champion, the greatest lady driver we've ever seen, in Denise Butcher in the green Logan Units car number 8. What a wonderful competitor Denise is. In the next row we have the Cape Country Flyer, Neville Harper, in car number 22. Needs no introduction to Australian fans or Tasmanian fans. He's travelled widely over the years, a great competitor. Back in the next row we have from Western Australia, John Cardy in the Chevy Wedge from Western Australia, and alongside him in car number 1 from Western Australia, the big Pontiac Trans Am, car number 1 WA, we have Stephen Dale, twice West Australian champion. Warm-up lap, 1 lap to travel. Then we have the next car would be Barry Gaunt in car number 97. Caution flag coming out. They are really towy out there. They are really towy, as you can see. Yellow flag has gone out already to slow them down. They are really towy. And I would warn photographers not to get too close out there. This will be a wild start. So, I'd say people infield, particularly if you're an inexperienced photographer out there, I would suggest to keep a very, very close eye on these cars. The Australian Championship final is like nothing else in Australia. It is the wildest possible race. And you can see just how tough they are out there. No man prepared to give an inch. They all want to get that start, and nobody is going to lift the foot off that throttle until the red flags or the red lights come on. So just be very cautious, because they really mean business. They really mean business out there. Every man is towy. Every man wants the jump on that start. Terry Lipscomb has the pole. He knows he has probably the most seasoned campaigner in Australia on the outside of him in Alan Butcher, and Alan Butcher will want the jump. He'll want the lead as they go into that Don towing turn. Now coming round, they're starting to form up. No start. There's been a tangle already, and there hasn't been a start yet. That's what I said about staying right infield. There's already been a tangle and there's been no start. These boys are incredibly toughy out there. And already one car damaged. So this is the Australian Championship final and they really are looking for business. And Gene Cook out there has 2 minutes. And they can only be touched infield by the official infield crew. They are really toughy. Terry Lipscomb, of course, he wants to get that jump away. I think although Terry was pretty well formed up there, but there were some goings on back in that field. Whew. They are really keen. And I've never yet, I don't think, seen an Australian Championship that gets away to a clean start, and we've already had one tangle, and they haven't raced yet, so stand by for the action. This is an Australian title, and as I said, there's no race quite like it. I don't really care what they say about any of the other big classic races. There's nothing quite like the fight for number one. Pace cars, or the push cars, come in to give Gene a push as soon as the all clear is given. There's a few of them at $600,000 worth, so over $500,000 worth of race cars on that track at the moment as they come round. And will they get a start this time? The green flag is up. The green flag is down there racing. Alan Butcher the leader. Butcher the leader. Hendricks is wide. Lilford as they go down. Look at Hendricks to the inside looking for the way through. They're safely round the first corner. We didn't expect them to really do that. The leader is Butcher. Yes, Alan Butcher the leader. From Terry Lipscomb, from Sess Hendricks and Graham Cowboy, then from back to Gene Cook. Then we've got Neville Harbour followed by Johnny Carty, Denise Butcher. That's the action out in front. Al Butcher the leader. The 81 champion in front. Alan Butcher the leader, being followed through by Terry Lipscomb in 99, but Butcher with a brilliant start in the bullet. Is next, then we go back to Sess Hendricks, followed by Graham Cowboy Lilford, Gene Cook, Neville Harbour, John Carty, Denise Butcher, Steve Dale, Barry Gaunt, then we've got Ian Marshall, Jeffrey Philpott. The traffic is going to be incredible. Janet Francis is already on the infield and joining the race. The traffic is going to be incredibly thick out there as they start to already. Alan Butcher already close to catching the traffic after only 4 or 5 laps of 50. As these huge cars stream around this circuit. Here's Alan Butcher coming up on the outside now of Janet Francis. So he's effectively started to lap cars out there. Terry Lipscomb's Gene Cook round the outside of Lilford, now going after Cook. It's Gene Cook, the man that's moving quickly out there, trying to tackle on the back of Hendricks, back to Lilford. Neville Harbour, then John Carty. Alan Butcher well clear. Terry Lipscomb is second. Then we've got Hendricks. Look at Cook moving on the outside. Gene Cook, the big mover out there at the moment from Hendricks. Hendricks, look at Cook down the back. Hendricks and Cook side by side as they go round. Alan Butcher threading his way through. Gene Cook up into third out there. Cook is absolutely screaming out there in the big grand brace part bullet. Down the back it's Butcher in the bullet. From Terry Lipscomb in 99, Cook in 71, Hendricks. Then we've got Lilford, followed by Harper, Johnny Carty. Then Stevie Dale, Barry Gaunt, Ian Marshall. Butcher still leading down the back. Cook making up an incredible amount of ground. We've got Butcher shut out there at the moment. Gary Cook going infield. Here comes Lipscomb. We've got Carl Jeffrey out there trying to get through. Inside is Butcher. He gets the gate shut on him effectively there though. Here comes Lipscomb and Cook. They're closing up. Philpott's out. Butcher the leader. Still the gate closed out there at the moment. Here comes the next cars. And Cook and Lipscomb are making up ground rapidly out there on Butcher. Carl Jeffrey in front of Butcher now. He's going to be very hard to pass.